Hey, what's up guys? Silver Slayer, welcome back for another video. So today I wanted to talk a little bit more about SHTF, silver, some of my opinions behind the best silver for it, some of the strategies and my beliefs in, kind of what the markets would do and what I'm doing to prepare, and kind of just a little bit of everything that goes along with that. Also, since we're talking about silver for SHTF, it would kind of be like for a trading mind state. So also just some trading tips and just things that I kind of go by and I keep in mind when it's along those types of things. So when we're talking about the best silver for SHTF, I have to think about SHTF, the overall situation. So people are not gonna you're not gonna trust anyone. You shouldn't trust anyone. Everyone's going to be a little hesitant, sketched out, and you're gonna need to make deals as fast as possible, and it's going to have to be a situation where it's the least amount of risk possible, as quickly as possible and as safe as possible, all within making sure that you're not getting robbed or scammed or anything fake. So when you're thinking about stuff like that, obviously you're going to need a very trustable piece of silver, very liquid, recognizable, and also depending on what you will be trading or exchanging, you're going to need several different denominations, just like how we have a penny today, a nickel, a dime, a quarter, a half dollar, a dollar. That's because there's so many different materials and items. Not every coin will be able to pay for all that. There's going to be different amounts. So when it comes to a situation where we're using silver as the main currency again, 1 ounce of silver will not be able to cut it for all situations. What if we have something that's less than an ounce, or a quarter of an ounce, or a tenth of an ounce, or a 20th of an ounce? How are we going to exchange that if all we have are 1 ounce coins? So that's where constitutional silver comes into play, where we have our dimes, we have our mercury dimes, we have our quarters, we have our half dollars, stuff like that. And also, we'll start off with constitutional silver because it's so recognizable, because people can look on the back and see this is a United States of America government-backed coin, where they know it's not faked. And a lot of people can recognize that this, some people, a lot of people know what a Walking Liberty is, or an old Barber half dollar. People aren't oblivious to silver and, older coins. They know about history. Well, some people do. But it also depends on your location, where you live. If you live in America, obviously you want to have eagles. If you live in Canada, I feel like, you want to go more towards maple leaves. If you live in the UK or whatever, you obviously want to be heading more towards Britannias, because you're going to be trading with people in your location. So if you want people to recognize what you have, then obviously you want to collect and stack what the majority of people are going to, know that's around them, which would obviously be wherever you're living at. Because the worst thing you want is for someone to not trust you or to think you're trying to scam or rob them. It could be very dangerous. But then there also comes the factor of, what if, in an SHTF situation, if anyone knows you have silver in general at all, they could be out for your head, and there might not be any such thing as trading at all when it comes down to SHTF. So that could also be very dangerous. Or the fact that when it comes down to SHTF in a survival mind state, who's going to really put the standard on what things are worth, or what's the value of silver at that point, or what we can exchange for that amount. You know, who's to say what 1 ounce of silver can get us, or who's to say, you know, anything of that. So they're all predictions. It's all basically just an educated assumption on what we can kind of go off of from past experiences, but no one ever really knows, and we will never really be sure. But all we can really do is prepare for it. And that's why, just like I like to say, like, I don't truly like believe for sure that SHTF, to the degree that some people, you know, prepare for it, will ever take place. I'm not going to live my life in fear or anything, or just go on a complete assumption that something like that would happen, but I am going to prepare for it just in case it does happen, that I will be ready. So, you know, there's a difference between being oblivious and ignorant about it and just, you know, going to the length where I'm like, I don't believe it will happen, so I'm not going to stack for it. Or you can be smarter and say, I don't believe it will happen, but I still will stack for it just in case. And plus, I love constitutional silver anyways. And by the way, constitutional silver and eagles are the two types of silver that I feel are best for SHTF. Now, also when we're talking about faked silver, that's why I'm also picking these two, because they are government-backed coins. They're not from a private mint that you know, not many people have heard about. You can clearly tell that they're real. They are pretty low premiums over spot price. I mean, obviously generics are going to be a lower premium over spot, but I could see a lot of disadvantages in having generic silver in an SHTF situation when you're trying to trade with someone. But I cannot deem that for all generic silver, because there is a lot of, you know, Sunshine Mint is a huge company. A lot of people know about them, and it's almost like they are as big as, you know, some of the actual government mints, just from how popular they are now. So I don't feel like that would be the case with everyone, and also it depends on the individual. You can't stereotype everyone to know nothing about silver. You're going to come across people that know a little bit. You might come across people that know a lot about silver that just don't stack. You might come across people that have no idea that what a mercury dime is. That you might have people that have heard of mercury dimes, but they don't really know exactly what, you know. So every person's different. So it's you can't hold the same agenda to everyone and label everyone as thinking the same way, because it's going to be an individual, you know, an individual interaction when you're trading. And also, someone brought up a very, very, very good point that I didn't even ever think about before, is there's counterfeiting laws for government-backed coins like eagles and maple leafs. So I feel like you're not going to see as many faked eagles and maple leafs, simply because you will get in a lot more trouble if you get caught counterfeiting or producing fake silver eagles compared to, let's say, a generic buffalo or something along those lines, or like an old generic bar or something like that. So that might give a slight edge on. I couldn't see that doing too much of a difference, just because, you know, people don't really care about the laws anyways, and plus we don't really know the numbers or the extent of that. But you know, that has that could come into play when you think about it, is, you know, you can get in a lot of trouble for that's making fake money. You know, that's just as bad as printing off fake $100 bills and getting caught. So, you know, that can come into play. But the thing I like to talk about the most is when you know, let's say something happens and we have our stack, we have all of our silver, and we need to either exchange it for, let's say, money, for fiat, because, you know, we have to face the fact that fiat currency is the most liquid form of currency we have right now, and we can't really buy gallons of water or food with our silver. So let's say there's a situation where we needed to convert our silver back to fiat currency, and or something happened in an emergency situation where we needed gas or whatever the case was, and silver just wasn't going to be able to be a form to trade with. And we needed to, liquidate our silver right then into money. Well, these two types of silver will be our easiest and quickest way to do that. If we have kookaburras or pandas or slabbed coins, we don't have the luxury to walk into our local coin shop and quickly sell that coin for the maximum profit, because he's going to give us only a couple dollars over spot. The only way we can make the maximum profits for, semi-numismatic coins or higher premium silver or slabbed coins is by selling them on eBay, waiting to find a buyer, shipping the coins out, which could take up to a week, waiting for the funds to come into our PayPal account, then withdrawing the money out of our PayPal account onto a PayPal debit card or transferring it to your bank account and letting that processing time to clear within 2 to 3 days. It's like, by that, we don't have that time. In an SHTF situation, time is precious. We don't have time to sell anything online. We need to have a foundation where we can drive 15 minutes down the road, walk into the shop, dump our stuff on the table, take the money, and dip. And that's why I feel like having very liquid silver like eagles, having, bullion, just even anything that doesn't have to carry a premium to the point where you have to find a buyer who's willing to pay your price that you put on it, where it's just sold for just the silver content. So that goes with any type of stacking. I've talked about this not only with SHTF, but anyone who is stacking for liquidity and just doesn't want to make things too hard for them when they're ready to sell, because like I always say, we have to think about how we're selling our silver before we even buy it, because it's really easy to buy silver, but it's not easy to figure out a way to sell it to make profits, especially depending on what part in the market you're selling at, and also where you live and what tools you have available. If you already have a good reputation on eBay that's built up, then that might give you an advantage. Or if you're someone like me, where I could put up an eBay page right now and promote it on my YouTube channel in front of thousands of people. And you guys have seen my unboxings, you guys trust that what I have is real, so you guys are more prone to buy off me. But if you're just some random eBay page that has only a couple of ratings that no one's dealt with, and you're trying to sell all this silver, people might not trust that. So I'm getting a little sidetracked, but that's just something to think about as well, is how are you going to build your reputation to when you're an individual seller trying to compete with sites like AppMex and sites like JM Bullion and Provident Metals, or even your local coin shops. Maybe one day you want to open up your own local coin shop. That'd be pretty cool, actually. So these are just some things that I want to talk about when it comes to SHTF, but at the end of the day, none of us really know for sure. All it is are speculations and basically educated guesses and assumptions, looking at from what's happened in the past to what could happen. And like I said, we don't always have to believe it's going to happen to the extent, but I do feel like it's always safest and smartest to prepare. And also beware of these silver pumping channels. You will see companies, well, they're people, they're channels on YouTube that fear push you into buying silver, and a lot of times it is from a company, and that's just their way of getting you to buy as much silver off of them as possible to make their sales go up. Now there's a difference between, giving out good information and educating people into the benefits of investing in silver wisely. There's a difference between doing that and then just ignorantly, fear-mongering people into saying the world's about to end tomorrow, and if you don't buy silver, you and your family's gonna die. There's a huge difference, and there's a very fine line. Be careful for these channels that claim that, and I swear every single day they have a video claiming that tomorrow is going to be the end of the freaking world and the apocalypse is going to happen. and then the next day they post a video talking about tomorrow. It's like, how many times do their viewers have to watch this stuff to realize that they are simply wrong, and all they're doing is pumping fear into people, and people are actually believing it, and they're living their lives in constant paranoia and fear that, you know, something really bad's always about to happen. Now, like I said, I don't feel it's wrong to prepare for that, but to actually live in paranoia and, you know, constant suspect of everything and always look, I don't feel that's healthy, and I don't feel that's right. So don't believe everything you hear on the internet. Don't believe all these silver pumping channels who are telling you to cash out your entire savings and go buy all your silver right now. No, there's definitely budgeting and a strategy where you want to go into silver, especially if you're new and you don't know what you're doing yet. You want to take it slow, figure out which path you want to go, figure out what works best for you, and, you know, go from there. And that's the best advice I could give anyone. So unfortunately, this stuff like this needs to be talked about, and I feel like I definitely need to share that type of stuff with people, because I don't want to see anyone go down that route, because I feel like a lot of people do, especially when you get into silver and you see all these people have thousands of ounces, and then you're sitting here with literally 0 ounces. You feel like you need to catch up, and the only way you know how to do that is just, you know, take out your entire life savings and transfer into silver. And, you know, you might be buying at a very bad time, or you might be putting that money into silver that it carries insanely high premiums, where you could have found better prices because of your lack of knowledge on the places to buy from, or the options, or what that coin's going to do. And, you know, so it's just be very mindful of that. And I feel like it's our job as stackers in the community to help our fellow new stackers, and, you know, make them aware, and give them an opportunity to make the most educated buys for themselves. That's the purpose of my channel, is to share my love for silver, spark your interest, and also give you enough information where you can make the most educated buys on yourself. That's why I always try to talk as unbiasedly as possible and share just my opinion and never claim anything as fact, because I want you to be able to make these decisions for yourself. I just want to lay out enough information for you to see both sides of the fence, pick out the pros and cons on both sides, and figure out which way you want to go. So anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to like and subscribe for more content like this. See you for the next video. Peace.